Hello everybody, welcome back to Just Roll It Already. I'm Daryl.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm hungry. I'm John.
Yes, you're eating cookies. We're doing game talk now, and right now we're talking about handling criticism, which in games you find that people ask for it more than anything else, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially as a GM, you want to get a feel for how people are actually enjoying your game. This should be done regularly, at least, I want to say every other session. Because if players are saying, I'm not feeling exactly thrilled with this, you need to make a change. Not necessarily for that one person's sake, but you need to make a change that can be more broadly seen to the rest of the party as, I'm doing it this way now because it needs to go that way.
Yeah, but also they talk about your storytelling style and all that stuff, and criticism is a very hard thing to take by some people who are extremely critical, who love to try to destroy you. He was not being, and it will generally, even when you don't ask for it, will happen. People will be critical about your story styles because some people think they're better than you, which is a sad thing about this hobby.
Mr. Buttersworth has a problem with, it's my way or I'm not going to play it at all because I'm me and I power game. Power gamers, they can't take criticism.
Well, that's usually when I look at him and I say, I don't care, deal with it.
This is my house.
It's my house.
He's probably in your house.
And you see that? That's a +2 broadsword on the wall. You mean the baseball bat? It's a +2 broadsword to you. Because that's what's going to be.
It's a broadsword that does bludgeoning.
Because it's going to hit you and it's going to feel like a broadsword and it most likely will kill you.
Now, like, for instance, if I was to...
Nerd slang.
I'll like,
Nerdbane.
For instance, I will use,
It's terrible.
I'll use a lot of, like, original monsters. Like, I'll use the stats, like in D&D, I'll use the stats of a monster that's similar to what, but I'll make, like, something ridiculous. Just, like, throw it out there. Like an Angora rabbit unicorn.
Oh, God.
That gives you every disease if it pricks you with its horn.
And turns things to stone, and for whatever reason, he'd eat meat.
Or if I make, like, a broccoli monster, like a broccoli humanoid.
So what you're saying is if you were Stephen King.
Yes. I just make anything a monster.
A lamp monster.
A lamp monster! Ah!
It's a Langolier! What's a Langolier? Who cares?
When can I expect it?
But now, like, if I'm like, and you guys are attacked by a broccoli monster. Woo! Well, my players might be like, that's dumb. We're like 22. We're not little kids. You're retarded. Like, that's stupid. Why would you make that monster?
To be really just offensive, yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, well, and I'd be like, screw you, no, flip it. That's when tables are flipped.
Yeah, on the subject of criticism, though, you can't, like, giving criticism, in addition to handling criticism.
Yeah, we should probably start with giving criticism.
Giving criticism, there are a few key elements. First and foremost is do not attack the person you're criticizing. I.e., don't call them any names, no name calling, no freaking, it's like, this is garbage, don't directly insult them in any way, so don't attack them.
No insulting words, but definitely, you're trying to improve them, not destroy their person, not destroy them.
But my campaign, I have 10 years of lore written in my campaign.
Yeah.
And if people are like, it's all utter garbage, you're basically saying the last decade of my life is garbage.
Yeah.
At that point, you're saying, that decade of your life you've spent, garbage.
Well, that's your baby. That's the thing you create. I make my games, and it's a labor of love anyways. I mean, if we got paid for it, I'd definitely put a lot more work into it. But since we don't get paid for it, and we're just nerds on the internet talking about gaming just because we can.
You goddamn cookies, I feel fat. Anyway, point is...
John,
I don't need a lot of
fat.
The other thing besides do not attack your... expect it. Like, you need to expect criticism in return for giving criticism. And it's not because they hate you in some way. It's, let's say I'm criticizing my DM because the DM is doing a poor narrative. And now, if I say, it's like...
Why are we killing goblins?
It's not necessarily that. It's just that he goes through the rigmarole of mechanics, like, essentially...
No story.
No story. Well, not no story. It's, okay, you're killing these goblins for this guy because,
They peen as well, okay?
Yeah, they peen as well. There's no reason why you gotta kill these goblins. They could be good guys. You don't know. And they're obviously bad guys because it's obviously made that way. It's all cliche. So you're like, you need to, work on your narrative a little because I'm not getting a picture of why I'm doing this. And they say, well, you need, like...
Then he pulls a M. Night Shyamalan, and really the goblins are cleaning the water because they can.
No. Okay, so my point is, like, when you say that to the DM's going to reply with something along the lines of, okay, well, if that's the case, I'd like to have to, it's like I need you to contribute more to the narrative so I can flesh out some story, because it's not he's attacking you because he says you're bad at RP. He's not blaming his poor narrative on bad RP. That's not what's happening. What's happening is I don't have enough material to work with. I need you to help me. Criticism goes both ways, and it's mutually beneficial.
No. Because there was times that you approached me out of games, like right after on a break, and say, Daryl, I want to be useful in this story.
Yeah.
I need this. I made this character for a particular reason. I would like to tinker with his abilities to see if it works. And I say, you know what? Cool.
Because everyone had their
You
one
go
badass
into
item.
come back. You go into
And
the
your wife had an insta-kill weapon.
Yeah. You
I had a
enter a sword that cleaved everything in half.
But when I came to, like, attacking something big, it was like, butter knife. Okay, didn't even bypass DR because it has DR adamantine only.
And then I made it into a magical sword that suddenly...
But that still doesn't pierce DR.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it does.
magic eliminates DR.
That's slash magic.
No. If it does not, if it just says it's magic or piercing, like if it says DR/piercing, it's magic and piercing. That's why spells get it.
Yeah, spirit spells are like the ultimate counter to...
That's why I always try to get something that will make my weapons magic, regardless if it's a +1 to magic. I just need a magic
Arcane
weapon.
strike. There you go.
Yeah, just because I can
Yeah.
just get through DR.
Anyway,
But,
we're getting off track here.
But,
Yeah.
you come to me, you say, I want to do this, but I don't have an opportunity to do this because the story is going in a different direction than I wanted it to. I thought it was going to go this way. And say, you know what? Okay, you got it. And I throw a few things out there that he wants the next time around, and guess what? He's happy because I didn't know, because he didn't tell me in the beginning that he...
Well, I didn't know it at first, like, specifically your Vampire Slayer game. Didn't know at first that everyone was getting, like, their one baddest item, and then that's kind of something you threw out there to be tinkering with. And, like, you realize that... I think you quickly realize that once you give somebody something... Insta-kill.
No more
it's
insta-kill.
like, well, now everyone's not on the equal footing. I need to give them something they can use to make them, at the very least, viable on their own.
well, there's a reason
You
why.
got the rod of divine justice.
Oh, it was the one that just used one.
There's something
favor for
very
each god,
important when you
Yeah,
get
but it's like impossible. It's uber OP. I banish this to the underworld.
For 5 minutes, my fighter became Gandalf.
Oh yeah.
for criticism purposes though, do not. This is for both players and game masters. Do not criticize a game master or a player in front of the group. Take them off to the side. Like if you have a problem with your game master, like I don't like him. He's referencing an idea. Like let's say it's something really dark or against. Maybe it's that's kind of against my religion. I feel I'm very offended.
That's a whole other topic.
Like I'm very offended, but you have some like, hey, I want to like criticism, like take it off to the side, go into the back room, maybe after the game, just like, hey, I didn't really feel comfortable with that, and be passive and give good criticism. Don't like you're a failure as a person and I hate you. Don't troll flame war. No, that's not.
Well, that just ends friendships. It ruins the gaming group, and
It
it destroys
ends
games.
friendships. It does end friendships.
It destroys games too, because He Who Shall Not Be Game has done that to a lot of people. My poor friend, the one I told the story about how he ran a game and he...
Yeah, because He Who Shall Not Be Game ruined him.
He just laid into him hard and saying he was the worst player ever, and he didn't even take the time to listen to me. Because
that is a perfect example of...
That's something you don't do. Just don't do it. When it comes down to it, use neutral words that are descriptive, but they understand that what you're meaning. Think before you even say the words.
And go on that note of, take it off to the side because it may be offensive to others. You don't want to pull, you don't want to dime a guy out in the front of everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, like you don't want to make him look bad in front of everybody. That's rude. That's
But you hinted on it, and I want to get to that. Respect boundaries when you give criticism, and respect boundaries when you receive criticism. Don't retaliate. So if somebody criticizes, this is kind of offensive. I'd really not like to see it in the game. It's like, well, okay, I'll tone it down. You don't say, well, too bad. You don't do that because you just lost a player.
At any point you have a fist cocked, there's an issue with the conversation.
Well, all right then, I'll turn it down.
Okay, when it comes down to a character story or a particular story element, it's fine. Mechanical, that's pretty gray.
Mr. Brothers had a notorious problem with being a just bringing a uncomfortable amount of sexuality to a game.
I remember that.
It's happening.
Your biggest problem is like okay.
Hypersexualization of a game makes me want to destroy the game.
Jeremiah's bane of a player is he who should not be gamed. His is Mr. Buttersworth.
Well, not my bane.
And then Fusion. No.
He who shall not be Buttersworth. No.
He should not be Buttersworth.
You should not be there.
Don't they do like the little foot thing too?
Yeah, but I'm sitting down. I can't really shimmy out.
So you have a butter troll with the dark mantle of evil.
He who shall not be trolled. Or he should not be troll. I don't know. He's a troll. Anyways.
Okay.
Troll.
Butter who should not be game. I don't know.
Portmanteaus. Yay. Anyways,
Butter gamed. It's like you gotta like make a one-word title, so it's like epic.
or like that's the name of the horror book. Like, horror game.
Well, but yes, I do know about the hypersexualization, which when you pull him aside, he does not contemplate the fact that you just offended every single type of activist group out there, including.
Well, it's not about offending the groups. It's just it's unpleasing to the senses to imagine anything like that at the time. It's just really makes it a really uncomfortable setting.
Kind of like how he was trying to seduce when he was really a girl, but we called him a guy because.
Yeah, we're like, too bad, dude. Like this, we touched on this in the sexuality one.
Yeah,
He's notoriously a female character specifically because I think it was as a male character he'd get raped by a centaur, which is grossly inappropriate for a game.
Yeah,
here's the thing.
Unless you're running an evil campaign.
Appropriation is another thing you gotta take.
He's the kind of player that if he was playing a World of Warcraft, he would play a female character because he doesn't want to look at a guy's ass for like 100 hours. He wants to look at a woman's ass for 100 hours.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
But he would also go into the inn in Goldshire and roleplay. We know what happens in the inn in Goldshire. Feathermoon server. Anyways. But that kind of prison.
I just timed out a whole server.
Yeah. That's a bad server. Anyways. Yeah, we'll roleplay after dark. Anyways,
it's awful.
Criticization. Criticizing.
We have just we're doing a full circle now. Okay, we talked about dishing it out. Did we talk?
Don't attack the other person. Yeah. Expect it in return. Don't cross boundaries. Do it in private. Well, don't private and then don't.
Private's, I think, one of the most important. That can definitely change the mood of it immensely. Just some people, they feel like they need to be the alpha male, and if you challenge them in front of a people, they'll act completely different as though if they were in private. If they're in private, they would probably act out like 100, like a 180.
Yeah, I've usually after games I ask people like, okay, how was the game? And they say, oh, it was amazing. And they're like talking about it, and they're saying like, love this part when you sat there and you suddenly said, you shall not be, and then you got hit by a train. That was freaking funny.
You shall not be gay.
You shall not be gay. Boom! He blows up the bridge, and then he falls into the pit, and he hits you with a whip, and he brings Jeremiah's character down, and he's like, this is how I wanted to go! Killing him!
Taking him with me.
Oh, jeez. I think there's like, the last element is that you gotta, when you have a game master and you're confronting a game master, that's one thing, but player to player is something completely another.
The gloves are off in that battle because that's something that's
players kind of can just do what they want, really.
How do you handle a player-to-player confrontation?
You really, because like a game master to player, well, like the game master has final say.
Maybe you should ask, how should you handle this without leading to bloodshed and hatred? Well, let's see. There's going to be a lot of dice flying, some paper cuts, and maybe a mini to the face here and there.
Or you know what's going to happen in game?
Or if it's a LARP, then
you need help out of the volcano. That just happened.
Yeah, the passive aggressive.
You're golem now. Hey, look at that.
And then you make you make a counter character that, kill their character to make a counter character that one.
Yeah, you just keep making characters like, oh, I just met you, I don't like you. Repeated crossbow to the chest, like just why? You just met him. You had no. There's nothing there to say whether or not you kill each other, but you do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's an endless struggle of like who kills who, and this is what you said, and then blah blah blah. Well, when you're being critical about another player, a game master should be the one to be critical about the player, because they're the ones who the game master is the arbitrator.
Yeah,
and they're the ones who say how it goes. I think you see me shut down Mr. Buttersworth. He says I want to do this blah 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 blah, and I go no.
Yep, just slam your fist down. It's
Absolutely not. You
Or your
cannot
gavel.
do this. I don't
Gavel?
know. Yeah, well, I need to get a gavel, but it's going to be like a Hammerstein. I'm going to make the Hammerstein.
you might damage a table or two. But the point is,
Just do the little gavels, the thing you hit the gavel against.
I'm going to have like a giant
Platform.
log.
what if he's going to have a giant metal stein, so when he hits it, it's going to shatter.
Yeah.
Not the stein, but the thing. Anyway.
Unless it's metal. But then the table shatters.
I'll have like a little like
Just
specialized.
resonates through it. It just turns into sawdust. Anyway.
You just spell shatter.
Well, I just throw my hand down and I say, no, you don't do it. Okay.
So does that mean that we should omit? Well, I don't say.
Well, when it comes down to okay,
Well, I was going to say.
comfortability is something that you want to put into that part, but also being critical about a play style. Okay, we're a bunch of our peers, and this one guy shows up, and we'll call him Gamer X because we don't have a guy like this who's a dungeon crawler. Hack and slash, loot the room. Even you, a rules lawyer who likes mechanics and not a big role player, you like story because it feels like, hey, I'm watching a novel.
Yeah. Although I'm a little over the. I like being over the top. Like my mechanics make me over the top.
But also, you make very unique characters. Where's MacGyver is possibly one of my favorite ones I've seen you do.
Really?
Yeah, it's really
My old artificer guy.
Yeah, he's like Gale slap.
Or Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie's funny.
Oh, bring me that.
Bring
Bring
me the bear. The player-to-player criticism, that's a hard realm to crack. I mean...
It sounds like, it's like, okay, the only thing GM can do is break a pool cue, throw it between them and say, okay, sort it yourself, because...
Well, I wouldn't even do that.
You could have the Game Master energy.
I would have the game master. I mean, that's what I was getting at. Is like, that is the only time that you'd have more than one person, like...
Do it right still.
And you shouldn't do it in such a way that, like, it's not your parent is there, settling something between two kids. Because if that's the case, then you need to change who you're gaming with.
Yeah, because
kids.
you should be adults. Like, unless you're...
Be a goddamn adult.
Yeah,
unless you are kids.
Yeah,
And you're running it by a parent, then it would be.
Yeah.
I know, I've been playing since I was like 8, so that should be...
I've been playing since I was 19, so whatever.
Some of it just don't drive being a kid sometimes. But no, it needs to be like, it's like, okay, I can't stand the way he's doing this. Can we do something about it? It's just he's really offensive. It's blatant. Let's take it blatant sexualization of the game.
He's always in the Princess Leia outfit. We would really like him not to be in the Princess Leia outfit.
And
just too much.
he's actually in real life. He's a rather large man.
Very hairy.
If it was a
Very hairy.
if it was a Star Wars
Very sweaty.
LARP, it was Star Wars LARP, he'd be Jabba the Hutt instead of Princess Leia in his character sheet.
Daba no uta Wookie nipple pinchy.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yep, and that's how that part goes. Now, if you have creative differences as a person trying to tell your game master to do what game master should do because they think they're a game master, then the game master has every right to exercise game master law.
Mm-hmm.
He is
It's
the law,
his game.
and he is the game master. So therefore, he wins.
It's the law of Dr. Monroe. The law. But, if the Game Master is Dr. Monroe, it's his island of half-humanoid animal freaks, and you have to abide by the law.
I was thinking about that for a second. It's like, Dr. Monroe, where's that from? Like, oh, yeah.
I hated that book
That's a pretty metal
movie
bit.
Slash Man Bear Pig.
I'm a fan of Lovecraft.
Yeah.
And you are a fan of Lovecraft.
I am a huge
And as far as horror is concerned,
that
Lovecraft is
racist white guy. Anyway, but criticize, but with a game, if you have because we're all game masters, but we do play each other's games, so you can have conflicts between game masters because even though I'm a player, I've now at this point I think been a game master.
And we recently had a huge discussion about
wand prices.
Well, that we've had a few things.
Oh yeah,
but we handle like adults.
Oh yeah, there was no we didn't fist fight. No, we're like, all right, that's fine.
It's like I'm gonna go to the reference material and see. It's like it says right here that if you're gonna actually go off of it, it's caster level is a minimum because of the feat requirement. So when you make a wand, you have to be 5th level. I don't care what the SRD is like. Oh, you count it as caster level 1 because you can't get craft wand level 1.
But there's things you've shown
as
me.
reliable as we can.
There's things you've shown me where I was wrong. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I don't no, I don't accept that. Well, first off, you've shown me a reference from a book, so it's like you can't refute that. Like, all right, well you're right. That's in the book. So
yeah, the whole thing about the draconic feats, it's like Dragon Rock Cobalt is not a true dragon. Sorry guys. Okay, so
and then comes Broloff.
But you have to take those into consideration. Don't like you handle things in a diplomatic, neutral, passive fashion. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Just being adult about things. Unless you're
Always being private with a, like, especially a game master player. If there's an issue with another player, you most likely want to have you want to have a game master come in and talk. If you can't come to an agreement between the two players, go to the game master, because that's really your only option at that point.
Yep.
If you can't settle it between the two players,
if it ends with somebody leaving the game,
there's nothing you can do with
nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, everyone has their own right to be there.
Oh, in person, yeah.
But if you throw someone in the game, that's a different story. We talked about it before. I've thrown people out. I walked away.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's something you just can't handle and criticism isn't taken, and sometimes your last resort is like, well, I
gotta go.
And also, if you do leave, don't well, I gotta go, and then you flip the table and you just
don't be a condescending dick either.
No, I'm better than all of you. You suck. No, don't do that. Just be like, well, your game was nice and all, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, I said
maybe next time, but when you run another game, I'll join in.
Yeah, I did that. He shouldn't have a game. He sat there and made fun of me about the whole entire time. And I said, I'm done. I'm done. Later. Bye. Where you going? I'm leaving. You gonna come back? Nope.
Yep.
Here's my character for an NPC. I know you're gonna kill him in 3 seconds. Bye. But yeah, I think that will pretty much wrap this episode up, because we don't really have much more we can say other than the fact don't be a condescending prick.
That's really what it comes down to. It's like we have a book with 1,000 metaphors, but they all kind of just come down to being don't be a dick.
This entire episode is summed up into don't be a dick.
Yep.
Words to live by.
Yes.
I think Socrates said that actually.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. As he drank the hemlock.
And we owe what's his face a hearse to make sure he gets it. Wait, what's his face? Don't be a dick.
Okay, we'll see you guys later with our Tales from the Couch.
Yep. Help us.
Yes, we are. Bye.
Bye.